Hey, Zero Traveler here again. Today's video is about credit. In order to travel for free, and actually, you don't really have to have great credit to travel for free because there's lots of ways to do it without it. But if you want to do it in style and do it quickly and have a lot of miles and a lot of points and be able to travel basically wherever you want, whenever you want, you have to have a good credit score. And if you saw the beginning of this video, I have just recently checked my credit score. And if you notice, it said FICO, FICO stands for First Isaac Company, which is a company down in San Diego, California, that had developed a algorithm that uses different parts of your credit report to come up with a score. And they use things like how long have you had credit and what the average amount of outstanding credit you have. For example, if you have a credit card that has a $50,000 credit line, and then you have another credit card that has 50,000. Let's say the MasterCard has $50,000 credit line and a Visa that has another $50,000 credit line. So you have $100,000 in credit. And then they look at that, okay, how much does this person have in credit lines? So this person would have 100,000. If you have a mortgage, then that would be more credit. If you don't have a mortgage, just the credit cards, that person has $100,000 in credit. So then they would look at how much of that you actually use. So if you have $100,000 in credit and you never ever use it, you just put those credit cards in your drawer and never touch them, you use cash and you use checks for everything, that is not going to give you as good a credit score as if you actually use that credit line. So you have let's say you had the 100,000 on the MasterCard and Visa, and every month you charge $3,000, or let's say you charged up to $20,000 every month. Let's say you have a big income and you charge $20,000 on these two cards altogether, $10,000 on each, and every single month you paid off this $20,000. You paid it at the end. The bill comes in, you pay off the $20,000. Then your credit score, the FICO score, will go up. It'll go up really high because that's what they want to see. That's what the credit bureaus want to see, that you actually have a credit line that's pretty big and you're actually using it. The thing is, if you use it too much, like if you would spend $50,000 every month, even if you're making enough money that you're making like 50 or 60,000 a month, which is a lot of money. But if you were making that much money and you were constantly charging your cards up to 50%, like you had a $100,000 credit line and every single month you charge 50,000, even if you're paying it off every single month without problems, comfortably, the credit bureaus don't like that because you're using more than they have in their minds. They don't want people to use more than about 30 to 35% of their credit line. So if you stick with up to 30,000 or maybe $35,000 on a $100,000 credit line, that's the sweet spot. That's where they want to see people. That's where they'll give you the best credit score. If you go above that, you go up to like 50%, they don't like that so much. They're a bit concerned that if you default or something, that the people are going to lose money, the creditors are going to lose their money, so on and so forth. So that gives you a good idea. So get the credit, lines, get the credit cards, and then use them, but don't use them too much. So that's the idea. Use them enough, up to like 30 to 35% of your line, but don't go over. Now, some people, of course, might have a hard time doing that. They might have a certain amount of credit and they don't really need to spend the money, or they don't want to spend the money, or whatever. But as long as you use them, like if you have 5 or 6 credit cards, and some of them you might never use, one or two maybe. Like I have probably about 8, 9 credit cards right now, and there's a couple of them that I just never use. There's one that I've had for a long time, and I've had it. I keep it. I don't cancel it because I've had it for a long time. That one of the things that they do add to your credit score, your FICO score, is how long you've had credit. So if you get rid of the one that you've had the longest, you're going to lose that longevity. So the idea is to keep the oldest one. And the best thing is to keep the oldest one should be one that doesn't have an annual fee, so you don't have to pay a fee every year just to keep it. And you can just keep it, that one you can just keep it in your drawer, or just like use it once in a while for $1 here, $1 there, a couple of dollars, and pay it off. And then the ones that you use most, the ones that give you the most benefit, like for example, the ink card from Chase that I discussed in one of the previous videos, gives a lot of benefits. So that one you could use a lot more, and then some of the other ones that might give some benefits, you use a little bit. So altogether, it would be a good idea to use all your cards every single month, at least a few dollars on them, and then pay them all off. But you don't have to. If you have a couple of extra cards that you don't use, you just put it in your drawer. Maybe a couple of times a year you might use it. That's fine. But if you do that with all your cards, your credit score is going to go down. The best thing is to use your cards as much as you can, but stick, like each card, you should stick within the goal of not going over about 30 to 35% of the credit line. So if your credit line for your MasterCard is $10,000, try not to spend more than $3,000 at one time. So in other words, or don't go over the $3,000 threshold, basically. So for example, if you buy $3,000 of items, then don't go and spend any more money on that card until you've paid some of that off. Well, you can go and pay off your credit cards early. You don't have to wait till the bill comes in. So for example, you might buy $3,000 on a credit card of articles, and then you want to spend more money on that credit card because you want to earn the miles or the points or whatever. Well, what you should do before you spend more money on it is pay off the old amount. Even though your bill hasn't arrived yet, you can go online and you can pay off. Let's say you pay off $1,000 of that $3,000. You send them $1,000. Once that $1,000 is credited to your credit card, which you can see online, you can then go out and spend that $1,000 again to bring it back to the 3,000 threshold. So that would keep you from losing points on your credit score. Because as soon as you go over, like one time I think I had a credit card that had a credit line of something like 6,000 or 7,000, and I went out and I spent, I think, 3,500 or 4,000 on that card, and suddenly I saw my credit score dropping. Like every month it kept dropping and dropping and dropping. I was wondering what's going on here, and then I realized that you really have to stick within that threshold. You have to be about 30 to 35% of your credit line. Once you go over that, once you get like close to 50%, they just start attacking your credit score. And that's not a good thing, because the next time you apply for a credit card, they look at that credit score and they're going to start saying, well, we're not so sure. We're going to give you extend more credit to you because your credit score isn't good, especially if you want to take a big loan, like you're planning to buy a house or a car or something, and you need to get a loan for it. You don't want to have your credit score affected by that. So stick within your means, stay within the limit, try to stay within your credit threshold. There's a lot of other factors, longevity, like I explained, how much of the credit you actually use. No one actually knows the formula that the FICO people use to determine your credit score. It's kind of arbitrary numbers that they use, but that's the most popular credit score out there, and almost every credit bank or credit agency or whatever you use to apply a credit card or any kind of credit of a loan or mortgage or whatever, they're going to look at your FICO score. That's going to be the number one thing that they're going to look at. So it's a very important thing to be aware of. And now that I taught you and told you what you need to do to keep it high, it'll give you a lot more like incentive to get that score higher. And a higher score means more ability to get more credit cards. More credit cards means more travel, of course. So that way you will be able to be on the flights, and I'll be seeing you on the next flight. Take care.